Hello everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Data Labs. My name is Dilip. In this video, we are going to learn how to use custom VBA function to create multi-level cascading dropdown. So before moving ahead and creating it, let's see the demo where I have already utilized the user-defined function to create the multi-level dropdowns. So this is the demo file. Let's understand the structure of sheets and master data of dropdown list, and then we will see the demo. So here you can see that we have three different worksheets. The first one is home, where we have kept the show my form button so that user can click on that button to show the form. And the second worksheet is master sheet, where I have created the master data for all the drop downs. Like you can see, we have four different column headers in this table, like category, subcategory, items and sub items. It means I am going to utilize or create four different drop downs in user form. Okay, and that would be cascading drop down. It means if user will select any of the category in category drop down, the respective subcategory will reflect in the second drop down, that would be subcategory. And then if user will select any subcategory from that drop down, so the third drop down, that is item, will reflect the items basically, or the values associated with subcategory, and same goes for sub items. Okay, so there is no limitation, because here just for demo purpose I have created the four different column headers. If you want to create a multi-level like drop downs having more than 10, 15 or 100 drop downs over there in your form, you just need to create the headers, the table in that way. Okay, and the user defined function will automatically adjust all the required values, and it will show, or it will help you in creating the cascading drop down in a few minutes. Okay, so this is the master data sheet basically, and the third one is drop down basically. So this is blank worksheet. So this worksheet will be utilized by VBA itself to create the cascading drop downs. So once user will select any of the category, like while initializing the form, it will create the category drop down here like this, and once user will select the category from the drop down, it will create a next column that would be subcategory, and that all the value like below subcategory header will be associated with the selected category. Same goes with item and sub items, like that. So this worksheet is only for VBA itself. There is no need of doing anything. Okay, and here you can see that we have home, master sheet and drop down sheet. So there is no need to keep this naming convention. You can keep use the name as per your requirement or as per your understanding. Okay, so this is all about the structure of worksheets here. Let's jump to home worksheet and click on show form. So before loading this form, let me show you. In drop down you can see that we don't have any data here. Okay, so whenever you click on show form, then a form will get initialized and loaded to memory, and you will start seeing this. So let's move to the drop down, and now you can see that as form has been loaded, at the load event it has created this category drop down 1, 2 and 3, category 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so here you can see category 1, 2 and 3. So this drop down is connected with this particular column, the E column. And as we have not selected any category from this drop down, you can see that there is no value in subcategory, item and sub item. Okay, so as soon as you will select any of the category, like suppose I am selecting category 1, what it will do, it will go to the master data here, master sheet, apply the filter on this column basically, and suppose I am selecting category 1, so it will filter the category 1 and copy the respective subcategory associated with the category 1 and paste over here, this one in B column, and then it will remove the duplicates and it will assign a subcategory. So let me show you. Once I will select this category 1, so you can see that the subcategory 1 and subcategory 2 are associated with category 1. Okay, now you can see that we have two different subcategory, that is for category 1. So again, if I will select the subcategory 1 here, what it will do, it will create the items, this particular, the item drop down here in C column. So again, it will go to the master sheet, it will apply the subcategory here, the filter which I will select the value, and then copy the data from here, the item, and then paste over here, and then remove the duplicates and then assign it to as a row source. So this is how it works. So let me select subcategory 1, and you can see that for subcategory 1 we have 2 items. One is item 1 and one item 2. So now in the same way we'll see the item 1. Once you will select the item 1, it will create again it will go to master sheet, apply the filter, copy the data for item 1 and paste over here and remove the duplicates. So in that way you can see that sub item 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 up to 10. So this is how this multi-level dynamic drop-down works, and this is very easy. We do not need to write a lot of code basically. So I have already created a function that is user-defined function. You just need to copy the function. So you can find the code in the link available in description box. Just go to that particular link and download both the files, like the multi-level dynamic drop-downs along with code and everything, and also the notepad file, so that you can easily copy and paste the code and start using it. So this is how basically multi-level drop-down works. So as to start with creating the multi-level, to see that how can we use to create the drop-down, let's close this file and let's open the file where I have created the Excel worksheets only, and the forms and code are pending. So let's double click on this, the multi-level dynamic drop-down, this file. And in this file you can see that I have already created the home worksheets, master having data, category, subcategory, item, sub items, and the drop down. So you can see, let me delete this. Okay, so everything is there. We do not need we do not have any code or user form. So let's move to the developer tab here and jump to the Visual Basic window. So in developer tab you will find the code group, and you just need to click on Visual Basic. Alternatively you can press Alt plus F11 as a shortcut key to move to Visual Basic window. So let's click on Visual Basic here, and now you can see that Microsoft Visual Basic, our application, has been opened. Okay, so first of all we need to insert a user form here in this project basically. So to insert a user form, just click on Insert menu and click on User Form. Okay, and the user form, so let's quickly assign the properties and add some controls over here. So let's select this form first of all and change the form name as, so in this properties window, just change the form name as FRM user. Okay, and the caption should be so let's be a multi-level drop down. Okay, and we need to assign the height and weight. So a height would be 210 and width should be 310 basically. Okay, and we need to make it model window, show model. Basically we need to make it false. So let's find the show model here. You can see that it's true, so let it be false, so that you can select the worksheet or cells while opening or running this form. Okay, so now we are done with the form properties basically, and now we need to add some drop downs over here, that is combo box. So first of all let's create create the labels for all the combo box. So in the toolbox just select the label here, and let's okay, and just give the name as category. Okay, and just copy and paste, replicate this for subcategory. Again copy paste, and that would be for item. And then the last drop down would be sub items. Okay, so as we have only 4 different columns in our master sheet, that's why we are using 4 different drop downs. So in case you just want to create a multiple, maybe up to 10, 15 or whatever the number, you just need to create the drop downs, and the same number of columns should be in master sheet. Okay, so sub item. Now let's insert a combo box. So for combo box, here you can see that this is the combo box. So let me draw a combo box here for category, and the name should be CMB category. Okay, and just need to copy and paste it for subcategory, then item, and then it's for sub items. Okay, so let's select the second one and change the name. That would be CMB subcategory. Okay, and this one is CMB item, and the fourth one is CMB sub items. So combo box CMB sub item. Okay, so we are done with all the required combo box. Let's insert 2 buttons, but as we will not be utilizing the buttons, but just to view, like we have combo box button over there. So let's create combo buttons, and maybe I can keep it submit, or maybe you can give the name as reset. So we are not going to write the code to submit the data. We will be only using this combo box to write the code, so that we can show how a cascading drop down works basically. So we are done with the creating this form and all the required combo box and controls. Let's insert a module. Just click on insert and click on module, and just change the name, or maybe if you want to. So I'm just going to give the name as module MDL dynamic drop down. So this is not mandatory to change the name, but it will be useful to give the relevant name to each and every module, so that you can easily identify the purpose of code. Okay, so we are done with changing the name of this module. Let's copy the function, the user defined function. So I have already created the function that is available in this dynamic list text box. So let's open this file and just put Control A and C and move to this file here and paste over here. So now we are done with pasting the dynamic list, that is user defined function, and we will be utilizing this particular function to create a multi-level drop down. So you do not need to write the code, but to use this dynamic list, we need to understand the parameters which are required for this function, that is dynamic list. Okay, so let's understand all the parameters, and then we will start using this dynamic list to create the multi-level drop downs. Okay, so here the first column, the first parameter is the filter column basically. Okay, so this is a numeric value which indicates the column position in master sheet. And suppose you are creating let me move to the Excel file here. Suppose you are creating the subcategory drop down. So in that case, you just need to pass a filter column. The first parameter is 1, because we need to put the filter here. Like suppose user is selecting category 1, it means we need to filter the category column, and the value would be category 1. Okay, so here the position of the filter column, that is filter column, the number value will be 1. Okay, and the filter text, so filter text basically it's a text value which need to apply it on the filter column. It means we are creating the drop down for subcategory, so the filter column would be 1 and the filter value would be the selection basically. Suppose user has selected category 1, then we need to filter the category 1 here. Okay, and the third parameter is drop down column as an integer basically, so it is also a numeric value, and that column would be the drop down column. So as like suppose we will be creating a drop down for subcategory, so the drop down column will be 2, because the position of that particular column in the master sheet is 2. Okay, and the fourth and fifth these are basically the worksheet name, like where you have kept your master data and which worksheet you have created for Visual Basic internal use. And remember, I told you that there is no need to keep this naming convention. You can keep the name as per your requirement or as per your understanding, but you just need to pass all these names like master sheets and drop down name as a parameter. So here we need to pass the master sheet name and the drop down sheet name. Okay, so this is how, like these are the parameters which we will be cut. So these are the parameters like filter column, filter text, drop down column, master sheet and drop down sheet are required to call this function and create a multi-level drop downs. Okay, so now we need to create the first level drop downs. Let me move to the FRM user. So whenever user will open this form, so we just need to create the drop down like drop down for category. So for that we need to call this function, that is dynamic list on form initialization. Okay, so let's copy this form function so that we can understand. Okay, and just click on FRM user and double click on this form, and then while selecting the user form as the object on the event part, we just need to click on initialize and just remove the previous function. Okay, and let me paste the function name with parameters so that we can easily pass, or maybe so that we can easily call these functions with the required parameters. Okay, so as we need to assign the row source or values, drop down values to this category, the CMB category. So let's copy the CMB category here and just give, and then we need to assign the row source for that. So the row source, so that row source, and for row source we need to call this function. So let's copy this dynamic list equal to, and so now we let's understand this very carefully. So first of all, we need to pass the parameter filter column as integer. So as this is the first level of drop down, so we need to apply the filter on this. This is the first level of drop down, so that would be 1, because we don't have any any other this is the first basically. So in that case we just need to pass 1 as a filter column and the filter text basically. So filter text, again, which value we just need to apply it to, or like on category basically. So as this is the first level of drop down, so it means we do not need to apply any filter on that, so that would be null. And then drop down columns. So again we are creating the first level of drop down. It means the filter column and the drop down column will remain same, that is 1. So here we just need to pass 1. And now we need to pass the master sheet name and drop down sheet. So let's copy this master sheet name and pass it in inverted comma. Okay, and then drop down sheet name, so let's, again, it is in inverted comma. Okay, so now we are done with creating the first level of drop down, that is for sub CMB category. And what it will do, it will, once form will initialize, it will create the drop down and assign the drop down list to the row source of CMB category. So now we are done. For the rest of the drop downs we need to call the same functions with required parameters on change event of combo box. So let's move to the FRM here. Now once user will click on this or select any items basically, then what it will do, it will create the drop down for subcategory. Again, if user will select the subcategory and select any value, then it will create the drop down for item. And if user will click or select the item value from this drop down, it will create the drop down for sub items. So in the same logic we will call the function. So let's double click on the category here. Okay, And let's copy this line of code here again. Now just as we will be creating the drop down for subcategory, this one basically, on click event of on change event of this, we will be creating this the drop down for subcategory. So it means we need to assign the row source properties here. Okay, so the cmb subcategory dot row source, and again we need to assign or pass the parameters very carefully. So dynamic list here, the function name, the first parameter is filter column, that would be 1 because we are assigning the row source on change event of first drop down, that is the first column. Now the value, the filter value will be cmb category, this cmb category this dot value. So whatever the value has been selected by user in cmb category, that would be the filter value for that. Okay, so it will apply the filter on first column, and then the drop down column. So the drop down, as we are creating the drop down for cmb subcategory here, so see, let me show you cmb subcategory basically. So the drop down column number is 2, so we just need to make it 2, and the rest of the parameters like master sheet name and drop down sheet name would be master sheet and drop down sheet. Okay, so we are done. Let's create the third level of drop downs on click event of subcategory here. So just double click on that, and once user will select the value from subcategory, it will create the drop down for subcategory for item basically. So first of all, let's copy this sub items and double click on that, item dot row source. Okay, and the row source would be, let's copy this and paste over here. So as we are creating the drop down for items on change event of subcategory, so it means the filter column, the first column, the filter column would be on this one, because we are creating this one, this filter, because we are creating the drop down for items. It means the filter, we will apply the filter on subcategory. So the subcategory position is 2, and and then we need to pass the value basically. So that would be subcategory. It means whatever the value would be selected by user on subcategory, we will filter that. Okay, and the drop down column, the drop down column is 3 because we are creating the drop down for cmb items, and item position is 3 here. So let's 3, and the rest of the parameters like master sheet and drop down will remain as it is, the worksheet name. Okay, let's move to the form, and now we just need to create the drop down for sub items. So let's first of all, let's copy this cmb sub items and double click on the items drop down. So once user will select or change it, we just need to assign the row source. So let's copy the row source basically, this one. Okay, row source. So as the position of this sub item, that is this one sub item, you can sub items we are creating, so sub item is 4th. So we will be applying we will apply the filter on third column, that is item. So let's third, and the value, the filter value would be cmb item dot value. Okay, and as the third parameter is drop down column. So drop down column is 4th basically because we are creating the drop down for sub items, and the sub item position in this worksheet is 4th number, so that's why, and the rest of the master sheet and drop down. Okay, so we are done with all the codes to create the multi-level drop downs. Let's move to the home worksheet here, and let's move to the Excel file basically, and move to the home, and while keeping on design mode, just double click on show my form, and here we just need to write the code to show the form. Okay, so frm user dot show. So as the form name is frm user, and that's why you are using frm user. Press Ctrl S to save this file. Let's move to debug menu and compile. So you can see that there is no error basically. Let's move to the Excel and come out from design mode. Okay, so now we are done with everything. Let's test this form. So as you can see that we don't have any items or a list created by Excel itself. So let's click on home and click on show my form. So as you can see that the form is visible. So let's move to the drop down. Now you can see that it has created a drop down for category, that is category 1, 2, 3. Let's select category 2. Now it has created the subcategory. So subcategory 3 and 4 has been started reflecting here. So let's category 3, and you can see that for category 3 item 5 and item 6 are associated item for that. So all these two items have started reflecting. Let's click sub item here, and I think we have done some mistake over here for sub items. So let's close this and Visual Basic. Okay, so we forget to use the row source properties here. We just simply assign the path. So let's now save this, move to the Excel and click on home, show form. Let's move here. You can see that it has only category. So let's quickly select this, and now you can see that sub items. So this is how this user defined function works, and it's very easy. You can create a multi-level drop downs. You do not need to create any hierarchy table. Basically you just need to keep use the vertical table basically using this way, and you can mention hash column as you want, and the user defined function will be auto adjusted. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. Have a great day. Bye bye.